This week we ended up with 34R. There was only one winner and four losers, but it's such a simple strategy. You don't need to be stressed out. You set alerts and go about your day. So a very, very easy way to make 34%. If you like the way we trade, apply to join me. The link's below. Right then, let's start off just by going through the rules as per usual. So I'm just gonna clear off the stuff that I don't need and just explain in a nutshell what we're doing. So generally speaking, the market will just move zone to zone. So I've got two H4s marked out. We're typically looking at 15. So we care mostly about the direction of the H4 and we go towards boss. So just gonna say, this is how price action went before. So we've got prevailing uptrend. So we care that we've bossed up. So we've got a breaker structure just here, indicating that the market's continuing forwards. H4 zone, come down, create a new order block. We're looking for the order blocks. We're looking for some sort of price reaction, whether or not it's chock on a lower time frame or if it's a rejection candle. And then we're looking to feed it up to the next area. So we're looking for either another order block within here, or we're looking for the next H4, which might be a little bit further away, if it makes sense to do so. But the market is hunting liquidity, and that liquidity is typically within the order blocks. So there's a lack of liquidity where there is imbalance. There is a lack of liquidity below and above the highs and lows. The liquidity is really where the exchanges have taken place. So that's all what we're looking to do. We're trying to stay in the same direction as the higher time frame, but we're trying to target the order blocks as our areas for liquidity exchange. So that's where we're most likely going to see a rise. So that's all what we're doing. So I'm going to go back to the start of this week. So I wasn't trading this week because I was away on holiday. So I always want to see how the market did after a trading session. So I'm just going to go into bar replay. Of course, we can see what's happened. I know what's happened because I did try to trade a little bit on Friday, yesterday. But let's go through and see what wouldn't have worked. What was the general percentage that we could have got out the market and go with that if we can. Right then, so first things first, we need to mark up the charts. Where is everything? I've gone back to the end of Friday, so the previous Friday. I'm just going to have a look at the weekly chart to see what the general flow is of the market. So the market's recently been pushing up, which is good, came down, it's reacting possibly from this inside bar here. It's not really an order block, it's just an inside bar. It's possibly where there'll be an exchange and a push out. For daily, for a little bit more of a granular view, and it is just again zigzagging, not indicating that it's going to want to stay down forever. It's likely going to push up from a zigzag. Looking at the H4, which is really the time frame that we look at during the day, we need to mark out where boss and chock is going to be, just to try and figure out the general direction. Direction at the moment is it's going down. We had this, I'm guessing, a news event, which is going to be a bit of a sub range of its own and probably push out or go this way. It doesn't really matter, but we're going to mark on where our zones are. So basically our targets or areas to look for trades from. So there's an H4 here, and that's it. We need to go back further to see where there's another H4 potentially. It looks like all the way back over here. And I know that this looks insane going back this far on the chart, but for some reason, it just works. These order blocks do seem to hold weight. And I think it's just because everyone else can see them. There's not going to be pending orders here from 4 years ago. It's just, in my eyes, it's just not going to be the case. But I'm just looking for areas of imbalances. So a lot of people know them as fair value gaps. That's not really the correct term to use. It's an imbalance. Oh, we've already gone through those, so we don't need them. The next H4 is all the way up here. So it's probably going to be congestion zones, okay? Probably there. I would say here as a general target, but I'm not going to worry too much about it just yet. And just one below us. Inside bar again, but not that significant, I don't think. Dropping down to the 15. Oh, sorry, H4. Let's see where boss and chock is. So we definitely bossed up there. Chock was still down there. Boss up, chock, boss, chock. So I'm just going to draw on the chock line. So for those of you who don't know, I mark out my boss and chock differently from standard SMC. Why? Well, it helps keep me in the trend for longer. And it is slightly different. And I can definitely see how it would be confusing for some people, which is absolutely fine. This candle here is a weekend jump, so I don't count those towards boss and chock. Down, we had chock move to here. So boss went there, boss down again, chock went to there. Didn't body break, but we definitely closed up higher. So chalk is going to have to go there. There's only a wick break, so going to keep that there, which means that boss is all the way up here. So at the moment, we're looking at this saying the market is in an upward trend. We've rejected the low. We chalked, but we didn't chalk. It was a wick break. It was a sweep. That's the way that we see it. Market has potential to move up. We have this almost order block down here, which is probably where there'll be an exchange of orders in order to continue rising. And we'll likely get trades out of the movement. So there's no set foreseeable target, probably here, maybe on a lower time frame, we might see something in here. I'm going to actually draw this on because I thought we'd rebalanced it, but we haven't. So I'll put that on as an H4. Drop down to the 15. Pretty much, we're not doing quite the same with the 15 because we don't really care which direction the 15 is going in. We're trying to find targets on the 15 and the H4, which would make sense to us. So we do have a big order block up here, and we've got not a great one, but we've got one down there in the H4, which is good. And when price approaches it, I might drop down to a lower time frame, see if we can get precise entry. So the ideal trade is work our way down to here, drop it to a 1 minute time frame, and then target at least up to here or somewhere else, maybe there for a rebalance. So that's it to begin with. Let's get stuck in. So I'm just going to start moving forwards. Hopefully this video won't be too long. I don't think there was that much action this week. So it might be either a small positive or a small negative. It doesn't matter so much. Now, I'll put things on in hindsight as well, because I just want to mark out the potential of the strategy rather than my ability to be able to backtest it. And I'll try and explain as we're going through. So at the moment, we have a little bit of an imbalance formed here. So we have a small order block, which means that if we wanted to go counter trend, we could go for this and then to there. That's one of the things that I would suggest within the group while live trading it. But at 3:30 in the morning, I wouldn't be. But just bear that in mind, there's an imbalance there. So that could be used as a target if we don't mitigate it, which we have. So take that off again. I've just put on the inside bar indicator because I use it. I don't use it that often, but it is still relevant to how I trade. But I'm just going to place this on because I tend to use them a little bit. Quite like, no, I don't. It's rebalanced. I'm looking for rebalances basically and imbalances. Okay, like this. Press down, push up. We've got an imbalance here. This is an order block. We're pushing past a sort of a local high. We've had the rejection pushed through. Usually this is quite a strong area to try to target. I'll drop down to the M1, see if we can get anything cleaner. Maybe this, which looks quite nice. So there's a 1 minute inside bar here. So I'll mark that up as an M1. And if price comes back down to it, we'll place a trade and we'll try to go long from there. But may not happen. But that's basically all what I do. Just narrow it down to a different time frame. Nearly got a tag there, which is cool. Hey, look at that. All right, so I'm going to mark that on, like I said, and we'll set our targets. So this is literally, a lot of this is set and forget. You don't have to be at the chart every day for this. It is helpful setting alerts. I'm always setting alerts at these levels. So in live trading, my alert will be set there. I send a signal to the group and say, like, right, guys, alert is here, alert is there. Basically, do what you want during the day and wait for it to come in. Or if you want to actively trade, you can be looking for these order blocks all the way through the day. Personally, because I don't want a job, so I take the easy trades. So we're still in this, blimey. But my cautious exit is actually here. This is probably going to be, this is an order block at the end of the day. That's a news event. I don't know what it was. Pushed up, came down, probably Trump opening his mouth again. Not sure, I don't listen to the news. So that's where I would be taking profit. So with this, I'm just going to place it there. That's okay. That's a monster to start off the week anyway. So let's do that. I was about to say I'll be gutted if it misses, but no, straight into a decent start for the week. All right. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Looks decent. That is a 38R trade. We'll round it down to 38. So I'll just mark it on here. So we've got this easy for later on. So 38R. Awesome. And a lot of you will say, you can't do that. But we can literally prove it that we do. And there's people in the group. There was a girl in the group this week, made 44.5% in a day. That was really cool. And she ended up on over 70% for the whole week. And it's proven verified. And the previous week, just to demonstrate that it's not cherry picking, the previous week she got, I think, plus 40. And the previous week before that, it was plus 30. So she's getting better as well, which is incredible. So we do this, which is why you can take a week off and just not really care. I took the week off, still chatting in the group, but not trading. Went on holiday with my little one, which was awesome. So all the time and focus and attention on him where I could. So anyway, we're working our way down now from this area, it looks, and internally on the M15, this is where the chalk line would be. It would be right there. So internally, I would say if we break down from here, oh, by the way, there's gonna say the order block is this for the M15. If we break below here and stay below here, I would say right on the 15, we're probably reversing to another order block that hasn't been hit. And there's also another one here. I got a bit too fixated on that actual trade. I'm going to clear these up as we go along, just to make the chart a little bit more normalized. But so far, so good. And don't worry about, by the way, I'm just going to say as well, don't worry about missing these odd trades. You're not going to get all of them. You just need to be consistent with placing them when you do spot them and see them, and your account will just grow. So don't sweat it. I think there's an order block in here. There's 3 candles next to each other. I would assume it's there. There we go. I might be wrong if it breaks through. Let me zoom in anyway. I was saying here with these 3, makes sense. Maybe even this. It's the pullback candle as we're pushing up. So it's probably where people had got long from down here and there. They saw this as an order block as well. Did their trades, and then some people refilled and went again. So this should be the exchange area. But I'm not going to mark it out as a trade because I don't think I say that. Let's look at the 1 minute and see if there's an obvious order block. If there is, then sweet. If there isn't, then we'll avoid it. I think it's already been rebalanced. It hasn't. There's a 1 minute here right at the end. That would be cool. And there's also one here. So after that big 38 win, I'd be quite happy to take these 2. Wouldn't be an issue. Probably do it off the actual structure. I'd be quite happy with these. This is pretty much rebalanced. That hasn't been. It's the pullback from getting to an order block. We had reached it, push down, push up. You're just stacking confluences. In your mind all day, you're just stacking those confluences. So I'll place the trades on there and push them up if needed. And to be fair, take profit. I'd probably say here because this is so strong. Otherwise, we've gone pretty much straight from an H4 to possibly another H4 up here, which seems also a little bit safe. So not bad. Personally, I'd take profit there because we've got all of these highs. It kind of makes sense for us to stab up into here at least, but we'll see. Ideally, you should never take profit. You should be moving your stops behind the swings and just let the market take you out and let the market decide what you're going to do. Oh, look at that. Nearly an entry. And then went off anyway. So let's see. Man, what a miss. Oh, my days. Honestly. Look at that. I wouldn't have been tagged in. My broker's too sharp for that. I got 2 brokers and they're both too precise. The spreads wouldn't have even tagged me in, but at 2 o'clock maybe. Not going to count it. It didn't touch. So, right. Let's keep on going. Where's the next H4? Miles away. So we'll just look at the H4 quickly. We have broken and cleared that. So I revealed a little bit too much, but we've cleared that now, which is cool. And problem area is probably going to be this. We got a push down. We rebalanced immediately, but this area I think is quite significant. And we have generated a couple more H4s. So I'm just going to mark these on. I will tidy up the charts as we're going through if I can remember. I'm going to mark this up. Not pretty, but it's there. Going to get rid of that now because it's old. We're going to move H4 boss to here. Chock now actually moves lower to here. And we're looking okay. I can get rid of that. All right. So it's looking a little bit neater. I'll take that off now because it's pretty much done. And that sidebar in here looks not fantastic because we've rebalanced this kind of structure. But I'll place it on as a possible area to look at, but it's not super strong, to be fair. And that's obviously where the H4 showed us that we got to. So, right, here we go. So we're on Tuesday, well, practically the end of Tuesday, which is good. So we are shooting through this video compared to usual. I'm just going to click on through the night. I was going to say there's a decent one, but Don't worry. Sometimes you will miss these things. That would be counter trend anyway if I took it. And probably work our way down to this H4 and then go. There's literally nothing being formed, no order blocks. Sometimes that's the case. Oh, there's one here. So literally forming. Yes. Oh, it's a bloody wick break. Let's check the 1 minute. It's pretty ugly. There's a good one here. So I'll place the 1 minute here. This one will be hard, but there's also one there, which to be fair looks too small. But the time of day, it's okay. I'll put on the 15 as well, just so it doesn't look like two ones floating in the middle of nowhere. Because don't forget, the higher timeframes don't tend to respect the lower timeframes, but the lower timeframes still respect the higher timeframes. So, oh, there we go. It just literally, I was going to say it just touched it and went, oh, that's a shame. What did that react from? That. I wouldn't have even thought about that. Oh, well, we can get rid of those because this M15 is being mitigated and used. There's a new M15. Let's see if we can follow along from here. H4 can move in a second. Shit, I missed this. Sorry. Just as it was forming, clicked too fast. So let's go on to a hindsight trade. No, I'd have been not tagged. So that's one which I'd have missed if I'd have narrowed it down to the 1 minute. I'd have missed that. There's an inside bar there. Sorry, not an inside bar, an order block right here, but that would have tagged me out. I'm going to put that as a -1 because I would have probably have placed hand on here, but been knocked out. So I'm just going to do that as a -1, save us some effort later on. So we'll put that as -1, which is unfortunate, but sometimes it's just the way that it goes. We'll check if the time's right. We'll do it in a bit. We'll check the H4 shortly. It's getting into nighttime trading, so you don't want to do that. Let's go to H4 now. We've got another H4 forming here, or formed. Boss is moving, therefore Choc has now moved to there. This looks a little bit messy, but they're all still valid. So they'll either be reversal points for us to get into, or they'll be targets. So never take off an order block if it's valid. So always leave it on there, just because it saves you a lot of messing around. I don't do those markups at the start of the week all the time, because my chart is good to go come Monday. It's still the same as it was on Friday. I've already got my mapping done, if that makes sense to you. So go M15. This is a bit of a funny mirror of that now. That's an M15. Yep, strange one. That's what this will do. So we're doing quite well on this, but this is starting to consolidate, which typically means order block. If you stack everything together and you think the amount of orders which is going on, apart from the time, is the evening. So an area which I'd be quite keen to look at. Oh, and we've come down, we've just sort of tapped into this. So I'll just have a quick look on the M1 if there was anything. Probably wouldn't take a trade off for anything there. There was an M1 right here, which is quite cool. This was the area which it reacted to. Oh my days, look at that. So that looks decent. Let's put that on as well. But where would you take it to? It's an order block from 7 p.m. triggered during Asia. I already see it's reached that, which is 7R, which you'd be quite happy with. But you wouldn't really be placing that because that would be a pending order. That probably wouldn't be formed because you'd be asleep. So let's just check the H4 and see, is there anything which makes sense? Up here somewhere, M15? So I'm just trying to find basically a viable target to place this towards. And I literally can't find anything. So you'd have to do it based on price action and come back to it in the morning, I think, with this one, and just sort of be wise with it. So we'll keep this one open-ended and just click on through. So we're, 7:50 in the morning, he'd be back at the charts, sulking. So this looks like it's probably going to be a loser right here. It is. So we'll put that down as a -1 as well. So -1, let's keep going. We managed to plow through this week so far, which is really good. Oh wow, look at this guy. Come down to this M1. Yep. All right, so we've got a trade-off here, which is cool. We'll be tagged in that. Target on this, there's no H4, there's no M1. The H4 order block high would be up here now. Probably take profit there, really? Yeah, probably there. That would be a good target first, that next. Let's clear some of these up because they're now used, including this one. So you've got that as target. Let's be conservative. There's this one and there's that one. Let's see if it even works. Maybe not. And it's out. -1. It's done. So we're now trending down, I think. Just going to check time. So we'll switch to the H4 and see. The H4 is looking like it's going to reverse. We've got an H4 there, which would probably be a new target for trades. We're coming down into this H4. There's an M15 within here. So we're just going to see, did we mitigate it already? No, but this is where we want to be trying to take a trade from. Nothing apart from in there. So it'd be a rejection candle that you'd want to do. But anyway, let's just see how it goes. You could do an M15 entry off of this, to be fair. Oh, wow, look at that. It went right up to that target, which is pretty cool. So, all right, sweet. So we're on the right tracks with everything. We know that it's moving zone to zone. So that's good. Straight from one H4 to another H4. Fake out. Rejection, working back. Inside bar order block. If it breaks below here, I would say it's in a downtrend. It didn't. Pressing down. Yep. There's now this as a potential. We broke out. It's a fake out. I need to check the H4 to try and make sense of this. So let's clear this up again. So H4's pushed up. We also have chock move on the H4. No, we haven't actually. Chock staying where it is. Part of the rules which I use are just slightly different, like I mentioned earlier. Bit different from normal SMC, but chock stays there for the moment. M15. Clear that off because it's already been used. And there's an M15 here. We can't get rid of this H4 yet because we haven't gone through it. And we also haven't reached a halfway point. So there's an M15 there. See if there's an M1 within this. There is. It's not a great looking one, if I'm honest with you. That's not an order block. No, it's not. But there is an M15. Anyway, let's click on. We're about to go into spread hours. So, oh, wow. Look at that. So spread hours, so you wouldn't be placing. Grid, that's gone. We've swept the bottom though, which is cool. So probably a push up. Go to here, come back down. Nearly. Got a little mini order block right there. Market's definitely trending down now. It's not definite, but this is an area which you could look at. Look at that price action. It's on its way. M1, and there's a gap. So that would be realistic. If it comes in, I'll mark it. If it doesn't, we'll save some time. -1. Well, not good. If you miss that first trade, it would be a sorry week. Well, it wouldn't. -4 if you miss that first trade. At the moment, we're up with 34. Just sticking to the plan. So there we go. It's coming down. There's another order block forming right there. Well, formed, which we'd gone into already. So let me just clear this off because it's no longer relevant. We'll tidy up the charts and we're just about to finish. Final day already. There we go. I'm curious to see what there was in that. If you'd have caught it, just this area. So this would have been a trade to take if you'd have been able to switch your bias going down, which would make sense. It's an order block. So there is a trade short that we could be doing. And you'd probably feed it down to here, down to this bit, which you'd have hit. Oh no, you wouldn't. Close. Now we're going back up. So we've rejected H4 chock again. So if we look at this, H4 chock has been rejected. So I'd get back on the buying side again. There's a trade here. I have a feeling on Friday, so yesterday, I tried to take a trade here. So I did trade a tiny bit, only for the day. But I was trading GU, not EU. It looked familiar, but click on towards the end of the day. So that would have held if you'd have got into it. End of the week. So this is quite an easy one to calculate. There weren't many opportunities. 38 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 34. So it's as simple as that. Now, if you want to trade with me during the week, just apply to join. I don't accept everybody into the group, but just apply to join. If you fit the criteria of the current traders, I may send you an invite, but I do it in batches, in cohorts. So I onboard people so you're completely up to speed with how to trade and we'll make money together. Thanks, everyone.